Hello and welcome to Blind and Refined, Losing My Sight, Finding My Way. I'm John. Thanks for joining us. In our last episode, I shared about getting the news that I'd lost half my sight. I had no idea. I wasn't sure I believed it because I thought my vision was fine. Well, 30-some years later, I have 1 or 2% of my sight. That doctor was right. Learning you've lost half your sight, time passes, your vision gets worse, it gets hard to get around. Both the initial shock and the advancing condition can cause one to pull back, to isolate. Today, I'm going to talk about resisting isolation. And here's what it looked like in my life. The specialist who told me I'd lost half my sight said there was nothing that could be done about my condition. So I continued with my plan to go to Romania and work as a missionary. It was 1990, a couple months after the collapse of communism. It was an amazing time, incredible changes, hard living conditions, wonderful people. It was thrilling. A couple years later, I got married, and my wife said she thought it would be a good idea to learn more about my eye condition. Learn more about my eye condition. What an idea! I think I was probably trying to forget I had an eye condition. I agreed I would look into it. We continued living in Eastern Europe, coming back to the U.S. every year or two. So it was actually several years before I got a more exact diagnosis. I had a condition called choroideremia, and it leads to blindness. More about that later. We were shocked. A couple days later, I was walking along a busy street on my way to a men's breakfast organized by the church I was attending. I think the weight of what I had learned in the past couple days was just catching up with me. And I found myself falling to the ground and crying out, literally, "God, I don't want this. I don't want to be blind." Now, I don't typically fall to the ground and call out to God along busy streets. I imagine that whoever drove by that morning found that sight to be pretty interesting. After some time, I got up, brushed myself off, wiped away a few tears, and everything in me wanted to turn around and go back to the house and be alone. Let's face it, getting the news that you will lose your sight or some other life-changing diagnosis is quite a blow. It impacts everything: marriage, work, family. It impacts relationships. It doesn't make them impossible, but more challenging. You may find that you no longer want to go to certain activities. You may find that you're no longer invited to certain activities. Just when we need the understanding and support of others, circumstances can cause us to feel alone. Rather than consolation, we have isolation. Who else can know what that is like? Strangely enough, the answer may be nature. Researchers are finding evidence that some trees and plants share water, nutrients, and other things with plants around it through their roots. Think about it. A tree may find itself in challenging conditions. Maybe the soil is dry, and it receives other vital nutrients from the plants around them. As a blind person, I find that observation to be very instructive. While many people may aspire to be independent and self-sufficient, going it alone, especially with a condition like sight loss, can be to our own demise. Put simply, we need others. And each of us has something life-giving to offer others through our relationships. If we and our spouses or partners are going to flourish under pressure, it is critical that we maintain and develop supportive relationships. And this can be humbling. The sooner you share your roots, the sooner you defeat isolation. Back to that busy street. and me laying on the ground. Everything in me wanted to go back to the house I was staying in. But I went to that men's breakfast, and I shared with them what I had learned a day or two earlier. 25 years have passed since that morning, and I still remember the understanding and support that I experienced. It deeply impacted me. A guy named Bill prayed for me. I went to that meeting gasping. I left that meeting a different person. There were more challenges ahead, to be sure, but the support I received helped a lot as I contemplated what was to come. I think I received something vital from those men that morning, kind of like those trees sharing important resources with the trees around it. Now, this doesn't always happen. Sometimes we step out and it doesn't go so well. It may even feel like it sets us back. Yep, I've been there. But that happens to everyone. And we truly need what others have to offer us. In closing, I'd like to make a couple of suggestions about steps we can take to defeat isolation. First, we need to have a long-term perspective. I need others. We were created for community. And it's normal that along the way, there will be some low moments, some setbacks. People disappoint us, just like you and I disappoint people at times. Of course, this will happen. That's why we need to have a long-term perspective and remember that the gain is worth the pain. My other suggestion is that we create a way to briefly share about our condition. Over and over and over, I have had people tell me they appreciate me bringing up my blindness. It doesn't have to be front and center, but I've observed that sometimes, not always, when I signal that it's okay to talk about my situation, other people are genuinely interested to learn what's happening. And talking about it can put others at ease. I realize this is a very personal thing, and we all have different comfort levels. Each of us needs to find our own way forward in this matter. But if this is hard for you, I want to gently suggest that you take one step in this area. If we are willing to risk and share, that can help other people feel like they're getting to know us. And it's connections like that that can help nurture relationships. That actually makes a difference. So, developing a long-term perspective and sharing appropriately about our situations. 2 steps we can take towards defeating isolation. As we move towards others, we may find that they have suggestions for us. You know what? I didn't want help from others, even though I needed it. I'll share more about that in our next episode. This has been John with my guide dog Gibbs, and you're listening to Blind and Refined. We would be glad to hear what you are learning on your journey. Our email address is blindandrefined@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.